chair. Thank you for hitting that recording. That's so funny. That's the one job that I had to do. I even have it highlighted on a piece of paper and did not say anything. So anyway, you're gonna have to find a chair and a chair-elect because Ebony won't be able to join us. So we thank Ebony for her service, absolutely, and wish you well as you move on to other things, other committees. So that being said, I just wanted to get you all started. And, you know, you're supposed to be working on the action plan this year, for the coming year. And, you know, we all wish that we were sitting around those tables like we always do and tossing ideas out and writing them down. And usually it's a really fruitful meeting, but we didn't do it last year and we're not going to do it this year. So there you have it. What I said in my initial email, Becca and Ebony, is don't be afraid to think differently in this action plan. You know, historically, we've just gone through, changed dates, changed names, and then off we go. We check that off our list and we don't have to think about it again. And, you know, your committee does have lots of responsibility. And there's no hard and fast rule to how you are supposed to be conducting this committee. So yes, the action plan from previous years is a guide, certainly. But, you know, don't be afraid to come up with new things, new ideas. Does that make sense?
Mary Liz, do
Yes.
you know anything about PILD this year? Is it?
PILD is virtual. No, sorry. PILD, sorry. Whoa. Too many planning things. PILD is in person. We are moving forward. I just, I'm serving on the RFP for the sessions committee. And so whoever takes my office will then, I mean, you won't, I chose that committee because I wasn't going to commit my replacement to anything. And so then you'll, that person will join and be able to select their own committees. But yeah, it's the planning committee is being led by Alicia Betancourt from Florida. She's super experienced in conference planning, or she's been to lots of conferences, so I think we're in good hands. And then also the whole JSEP leadership has changed. Bob retired, and now we have Jim, and I can't think of his last name, but he's, you know, learning to navigate the system as we all go along. So anyway, that's all I know about PILD. And any questions before I get you? I just want to step aside and let you guys work. I do have a question though for you, Glenda. I'm glad you're on here. Something that's puzzled me for the past 2 years is, so it seems like there's not a whole lot of overlap between the impact statement editors and this committee. I mean, there's a few, but in my opinion, I thought or would think that they would be kind of almost one and the same. And is it just people's preference, or, you know, just that list was developed of editors and we've just stuck with it, or what is your thought on that?
I think some of them want to still want to contribute, but they're not as active as maybe they used to be as far as committee participation, but they're dedicated to impact reports. So
yeah. Well, you know, and they do a fabulous job. I'm not saying that we want to replace them. It was just kind of a curiosity question. So
well, I think our as you said, our action plan has been kind of a template that hasn't had too many changes from year to year. So and the amount of hours that you put in, you know, with the impact statement is about as many hours as probably any other committee.
Oh, definitely.
Contributes.
Definitely,
so
I would say, yeah.
Adding new things is maybe not of interest to them.
So, could be.
You know, just guessing.
Yeah.
Just guessing.
Yeah. I don't know. I was just curious that the system works. I don't want to break it. certainly, but
Mhm.
I was just curious. So,
Yeah.
so you're tasked with coming up with some offices, and there's only 4 of you on this call, which
Yeah,
is
that
kind
does
of
make it a
scary,
challenge. Yeah.
kind of scary.
Well, I think that maybe is the fallout from not having in-person PILD.
I think certainly, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that
and
is.
just not. And I'll tell you, I was talking with a colleague this morning here. We're all just tired of Zoom. We're just tired of it, and
Us and our clients.
us and our clients. And I think that maybe, and certainly just my opinion, but maybe people thought, I don't want to sit in on that committee meeting. I'll listen to the general session. If I'm a delegate, I'm going to go to the business meeting, and I'm going to pick and choose what breakout sessions I go to. But other than that, I've got other pending things, and maybe that's people's mindset.
Yeah,
So
can you, I agree with that too. There's a lot of things that come into play. I have another question for you is how have we been distributing the impact reports through the virtual PILD?
well, all I can do is just the whole virtual deal, and I encourage the affiliate leadership to send them out. I did something for the first time this year, was sent them all electronically to NIFA, which
Oh,
was
cool.
kind of a new thing, and I think they
Yeah,
appreciated that.
good.
Yeah, I shared them with, I know in my state, I shared them with our legislative liaison, and worked in
Okay.
committee a little bit with that. But other than that, what are you going to do? You can tell people to do it and do it and do it, and we don't. I don't know. I say that without any kind of factual backing, but I just have a feeling people didn't use them like they would have had we had in person. Really.
Yeah, I'm not even sure how those visits occurred.
Right. Well, and I will tell you, Illinois, we were supposed to have electronic visits, and they got canceled. So we didn't
Yeah.
have them. I just ended up sending the materials. Well, big deal. How many emails do they get? So I think that's where we are.
I wonder if we need to take the initiative to send those things to our elected officials in Washington, D.C., rather than our extension administration.
I know. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I agree. So, but hey, not my committee. Well, kind of, but it won't be my committee very much longer. And so I want to bow out and let you folks work.
Okay.
So Becca, I will toss the leadership microphone to you, and we might have to leave some offices vacant, unless a couple of you really want to step forward. But I am going to back off, and I'm going to visit the other committees while we have some time. All righty.
Can I ask you one more question?
Oh, absolutely.
How did your virtual meetings go with the committees this year? I know you had a few.
The advocacy committee rocked it. Education, I mean, what Becca, you and I talked several times, but as far as full committee, it was just difficult to get people to hop on to things.
Right. Okay.
And I think too, I think with this education committee, like I said, many of the members are not the editors. And it's kind of, well, if I'm on the committee and I'm not an editor, I know those editors are going to take care of it. Whereas advocacy, they, sort of put everything on its head and did things very differently. And yeah, so I think maybe that's where we are.
Okay.
Again, just an opinion. So
Sure.
yeah. All right, I'll be back.
Okay. Bye.
So I can throw up what we have, but But unless either one of you want to take the chair, it may be something we can put out to the rest of the committee and see if anybody, because we have Alyssa who was on the committee last year. If we wanted to throw that to everybody who wasn't able to make it on and see if anybody wanted to take it. We do have a chair-elect unless she doesn't want that this year. Her name's Tracy and she's from Kentucky. I was just typing it in.
Okay.
Give me a minute. So I can share my screen if that makes it easier. If not, I can take it away. But that'll at least show that's kind of where we are.
Mm-hmm.
So the left is the last year's, and then I was starting to type in this year's stuff. So those were the committee members.
Well, in the past, it seems like we have a lot of difficulty with getting people to commit to something for 3 years. So in the past, what we've done is when we've had a double vacancy, we've just moved that apprentice up into the chair position.
Chair.
Because they were interested in this leadership opportunity. Okay.
Okay. So possibly see if she's okay with being moved to the chair.
Yeah, we'll have to, but we need to start with that in mind, I guess. Jesse, where are you with committee leadership? Something that looks nice in your Vita, you know?
That's right. I don't mind. I mean, if you want to put me in one of those roles, I don't mind. I haven't been active on this committee, but you know, that really.
Hey, sometimes it's the best way to learn.
It is. I say jump in the deep end. You want to take the committee chair role and have Tracy ease into it? What was her plan?
It really doesn't matter. Whatever I guess you need me to do. I know they're also trying to recruit me for this. Well, recruit, I think, someone for the VP of public affairs position. And I'm kind of waiting to see how that plays out as well. So I don't know how that plays into anything. I didn't apply, but I know they're trying to recruit someone, and I talked a little bit to Mary the other day about it, but and I haven't committed one way or the other.
Well, VP of you have to, it's a process. You have to start on that a lot sooner and let them know like 2 months before the annual session.
Right.
So too late for this year unless something's changed or you know something that I don't know.
No, I think she's stepping away, and I think they're trying to find someone to fill.
Oh, great. Someone else to run for this year. And so you're going to get all those exceptions, right? Okay.
So I don't know. Like I said, I haven't committed to it. I just know that they've talked to me a little bit about like, are you interested, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Well, this one feeds directly into PILD, and as VP, this is a committee you're strongly engaged with. So being committee chair would wouldn't hurt.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Jesse, can you put your email in the chat for me so I can add it there? And what state did you say?
Maryland.
So Vanessa Hoynes, isn't she the one that was nominated or accepted for?
Accepted for. Accepted for what?
To be the candidate for vice president for public affairs. And you're saying that you think that she's withdrawing?
I have no, I really don't know. There was an email, if you remember, like 2 weeks ago, there was an email survey that went out. And I completed this survey, and then somebody followed up to me with me and said, hey, are you interested? And I said, well, tell me more about it. So
Mhm. Wow, okay, well, we'll learn more as we learn it, okay?
So there are our subcommittee goals. Okay, so this is where our objectives, we may change some of them might stay the same. That may depend on what they are. So we do provide the PILDS first time scholarship. That's done by the VP of Affairs and the board.
Mhm.
And so that's a November, February thing. Okay. And then that's the word out for it. It's our second objective. And so that starts, I guess that's, nope. Yeah, that's already started. And it ends this month. So as
You've got responsibles with specific name. Did you want to?
okay, yes, we can. So, well, specific name, we don't know who the VP is yet.
Well, I mean, it's just that column. You don't have the column for who.
It wasn't in the template.
Oh.
We'll add it.
Okay.
Oh no. Yeah, it wasn't in the template. This was the template that Mary Liz sent me earlier. So VP. Okay, the third one was using the e-newsletter, which I think that happened via Mary Liz for the past 2 years. So that was another one that kind of falls on the VP, and then the subcommittees as we get it to share it out to our places. Let's see. Fourth one, utilizing the listserv, which was utilized a lot more this past year, so that was helpful. It's not wanting to copy this one. Hello, Jackie.
Hi, Jackie. Which affiliate are you from?
Wisconsin.
Oh, awesome. Welcome.
So we're just going through what our actions are. We kind of talked about the leadership. So I think Jesse's gonna possibly take our chair. We're gonna check with our chair-elect, and then we need an apprentice. Because our chair-elect needed to move out of the position. So that's kind of where we are there. Our strategic plan, so we're just going through the objectives and if there's any of those that we kind of need to change or modify for the upcoming year. So update our impact statements, online submission form. So did this happen? Do we remember?
Yeah, it did. Something happened to it. It was a lot easier to use.
Okay.
One thing that we probably should check is that the childhood obesity impact statement sometimes gets called just childhood obesity instead of childhood obesity prevention. And we should probably make sure that those changes happen both on the webpage and in the share your story template.
Sorry, I'm having to not use one of my fingers and it's making this really hard. So make sure it says what?
On childhood obesity prevention.
Okay. So do we need to keep that on our changes for this year, or?
It just
That
needs
would
to be checked, and I
Needed.
think the VP should just check that.
Okay. So we'll make that. Okay. So we'll have to check on this one did our templates that got uploaded to be used, were those okay, no, this was for state affiliates to be able to implement their own. I don't believe that happened. Did it?
I don't remember seeing any.
Okay, so is that something that we want to keep and check with Melissa and see if she is able to still work on that?
Sure.
Yeah, I say yeah, because we talked about that last year, like at the PILD planning to it, and after that was important. I just don't know that it happened.
So would it be update or review?
I think it would be updated because I don't think it happened. But we can put in parentheses, possible review. And I'll check with Melissa to see where maybe she got on that. And we'll just give it that January, since that's kind of when those go out. Let me put a note.
Well, they start, the portal opens in December.
Does it? I thought it opened February 1st.
It's due February 1st. Everything's
So
due.
it needs to happen before that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you think it possibly needs to be ready by December? It opens December 1st?
Yeah. Next statement data on. So it has, are 5 and 6 the same? What's different?
I think 5 was specifically the online portal updating, and 6 was to have impact statements. So that, did I not copy that? Nope, I do think they're the same. I do think that they're the same. So the template is something that they were working on. So that actually can just combine.
Because we know they updated the online submission form.
Mhm. Yeah, because it was a lot easier to follow.
Okay, so.
So is one really updating it and then the other one promoting? No, they're the same. I was trying to think if there was any difference.
No, I think they are the exact same. So you'll just take 6 away.
Mhm.
Okay. So 7. This is what we had for 7.
Well, maybe we can, let's see. We know that Pild's supposed to be live this year.
Okay.
So maybe the black text is something we want to use for this year.
Okay. So the VP Public Affairs and then the VP committee and the committee are the ones that get that out. It's in April, right? It'll still be held in April.
I think that's usually the date, yeah.
So is there any in the blue part that we needed to keep or?
So, let's see. Yeah, that's good, the blue part. And then also, I think where it says have state affiliates email legislators prior to PILD. All of their legislative aides want to have these emailed to them at some point, whether
Okay.
it's before the visit or after the visit.
So do we need to add, does that add to number 6 or do we make that its own objective?
Just part of number 7, I think, because they do need to take paper copies with them. It's really good props for the presentation. But then a follow-up is that we should, no, not the blue part, just that one black statement that didn't get that right there. Just make state affiliates aware that legislators want them emailed.
Okay.
Well, and I think the blue piece was specific to COVID last year, but I still think it's a good practice. So maybe we can take out the beginning part. And I still think it's a good idea to have them contact them, ahead or behind, even if they are or are not going in person. So I still think it's a good practice.
What part were you talking about there, Jackie? Which sentence?
So in the blue part, it says, it's specifically the challenge because they weren't in person. So in the past, and then having them send it out ahead of time and contact their state leaders with their stuff. I still think we should do that, whether they are going in person or not. I still think we should have them do that. So I still think the blue piece fits. Does that make sense?
Well, can we edit it down a little bit? It's
Yeah,
pretty-
that's what I'm saying. Take out the COVID part, but I still think they should contact them. And then the last piece, did they ever do a video?
So are you thinking maybe keep that part?
Yeah,
Would that kind of narrow it down and cut out your COVID, but leave your still, you should contact your
Mhm.
chairs or your representatives?
I think so.
Okay, so this is state leaders here. So that's good. That would be a good thing to do.
then the last part, I do not believe that ever happened.
No video, so do we want to leave it in? I think it's a good idea. I don't know.
A webinar did happen though, but I think that's another one of what impact statements are and why they were important. But I almost think that if you're going to keep that and leave that, we may want to put it as a as its own item. Since yes, it is tied
Right.
to it, but it is
I
a
agree.
separate action.
And it's a pretty hefty task.
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost think a webinar is better than a video. Video, turns into, something that is a lot of work, and things can change, so might be out of date more quickly than we want it to be, but a webinar would be more interactive or could be more interactive, I think.
Yeah, the webinar, there was a webinar that happened last year that we did on the impacts in the state, how to do your impact and your tips on it. So, I mean, there's a webinar on that synopsis, which I think is on the NEAFC website that's available.
Okay.
I think it is. I'm not 100% sure on that. So do we want to just remove that altogether of the video?
Yeah, I think so. It's a huge commitment, time commitment. I'm not sure, that it has a long life. Does anybody have any thoughts on that?
I would agree, especially since, there's 4 of us, 5 of us in the meeting, and none of us is saying I'm willing to take it on. I think it's probably beyond what we have the ability to do.
Yeah.
Good point, Jesse, good point.
Whoever brought that idea up should be maybe the one that takes the lead on that, but we don't see that person jumping in at this point or has jumped in yet. So let's take that one off or not add it, I guess.
Okay. And then make statements available at annual session for PA and president affiliates and committee meetings. So that would be something that the VP does during, I guess, their board meetings.
No, that's usually happens during both the committee meetings, when we're all together. And then also in the officer affiliate meetings for the VP of Public Affairs, as we usually have those on people's chairs when they come walking in.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a face-to-face promotion that we get a lot of mileage out of when we do have face-to-face meetings.
Okay. So
It
that
really refreshes people's memories on what was said, and they don't have to click on anything in order to see the next page or scroll. No scrolling or clicking required,
Scrolling clicking. Okay, so that's something that needs to be left. Does it happen during October or does it happen during a different month then?
Well, what's our next annual session?
Okay, so it happens at the annual session.
Yeah, you can just type in annual session date. I think it's earlier next year.
I don't know.
I think so. This is late this year for.
It's really late.
Let's see. Does it say yet?
So when I was elected, it was a late meeting, and usually you have 3 months before your first quarter ends, and it comes up really fast when your meeting's in November instead of September or early October.
So this one says it's September 12th through the 15th.
Great. We're going to North Carolina. Awesome. I'm ready.
Okay. This next one, it hasn't happened for 2021s yet, but it will happen in the next few weeks. I plan to have it done. I am the one in charge of it. So it will happen, and it's one that we've kept on there because it helps take the impact statements and just it makes them social media easier to post on social media.
Okay.
Somebody wants to help, I'm game for it too. Had to get last year's done, and then we're working on this year's.
Okay.
Google Drive templates, marketing, infographics. I don't know that this happened. So is that something we want to keep, or is that something we don't want to try? What I remember that being was trying to get templates and things all into one place, so that as it moved from VP to VP or committees, it went with them, or it went with whoever came next. It didn't just go away when people left.
I prefer to see that hosted on the NEAFCS website. I really have a lot of problems with Google Drive. So, and I'm not sure if I'm the only one, but
so maybe replace Google Drive with NEAFCS.
yeah, let's talk to our management committee, because if it's going to get housed anywhere, it should be with them.
No, I have problems with Google Drive sometimes because it tries to connect all kinds of places, not where I
Yeah.
try to make it. So yes, I agree.
I just feel like Google is that creepy uncle, you know.
I used to think that way till I finally got used to it. And then we started using all these other platforms. And I'm like, oh yeah, like I don't want to go back to SharePoint. That really stinks. Like,
Yeah. We've been using Box at Oregon State, but I think if this is, partially intended to be something that makes it easy to transition, it's a good place to have it, is with our management company, because they're on top of a lot of things and I really trust them. So. Okay, whoops, I see my name in here.
Okay, so does the next one is the recommendation of leadership? Does that need to stay in there, or does that one need to come out?
Oh, trying to even remember this discussion. Oh,
which one are you on? 11?
yeah.
Yes.
Somebody else brought it up, and I think I must have chimed in that I knew how to find the multiplier. Huh.
So that's adding another impact statement, right?
I know. We might not need to do that, but we might want to ask about the number of volunteers and volunteer hours that they've collected for the year from different states. And then we can apply that multiplier, which is like $24.50 an hour or something like that. And
I don't think there's a good way that volunteer hours are collected, though.
Yeah,
Right.
I was just gonna say, the thing is, I don't, it could be optional. It does look really good, like when you're talking with
Mhm.
legislators and it's something they really like and they ask for it, so the staffers ask for that. But we don't necessarily with this particular one have I don't think there's a generic across this, every state where people are capturing that like they do with 4-H per se, you know what I mean? So
Right.
it's a little bit different. It's valuable, but so maybe it's an option. I don't,
Okay.
if you do track it.
It'd almost be something I would add into the overall impact statement collection of a volunteer hour question. And that would be where you could get that.
And it wouldn't necessarily be in an impact report. Let's see, how could that? Actually, you know, that I like that, Becca, the adding that into the share your story statement, where, you know, how many volunteer hours were contributed.
Yeah, I think that's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, because that's where it's going to be relevant. Like in the food safety one, we can fold in the master food preservers and the nutrition family food educators. There's other volunteer programs too, I think. So I think there's some financial management volunteer programs, right?
Yeah, financial coaching.
Mm-hmm.
But that way it would fall in that same impact statement and we'd still collect that how many volunteer hours existed.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point to add the financial one, because I think quite a few states do that. That's not something we've captured in the past.
Yeah, I'm not sure we want to rely on the members to report this. It might be something we want to ask instead of in that portal, which I just suggested. I'm changing my mind here. Is that through our member clicks committee, ask each of the state program or public affairs chairs or vice presidents to collect all of their volunteer data and contribute the number of volunteers and their hours.
hey, look, we can try it at Mary Liz too.
Oh, look at you.
Hey there. Yeah, I remember that I downloaded this, but I can't get the camera to show the logo in the background. I guess I have to like sit over here, which is kind of backward. I wish I could somehow flip it, but anyway, how we doing on our plan?
We are on number, what are we on number? I think 11. We're modifying
Oh,
11.
Moving right along. Excellent. Excellent.
Mhm. And
Hey,
Jesse,
Jackie.
Hey, Mary Liz, how are you?
Good, how are you?
so Ebony, you haven't unmuted yourself yet. Did you want to do that and join us? I don't know if you're there or if you're trying to monitor several committees at the same time.
Oh, I'm here. I'm just listening and working on the report.
Okay.
I love that honesty. Yeah. You know what? That is both the beauty and the curse of a virtual conference is that, you know, you're kind of like, oh, well, I can get a lot of stuff done. But by the same token, you're not fully immersed. So yeah, but I hear you, Ebony. Absolutely. I've got reports that I'm hoping to squeeze in later today too.
Yeah, IAPs I do, and so I have to check one of my agents IAP before we send it to the director. So I'm looking over that for her.
Absolutely.
Oh, well, you're a hero.
But I'm listening. Everything looks great.
Okay. I think we're on number 12 now.
Number 12 is something that Jackie can speak directly to. We planned what I thought was a really good NEAFCS /PILD meeting. And that was kind of when we were all just so brand new to the whole virtual thing. And I think people really enjoyed it and benefited from our meeting.
Yeah, That's a good thing to keep just right the way it is.
Well, my thought process is, I don't know. I'm looking at that. I like it and I think it's really, really good. But then my thought process is, should it be the attendees of PILD or should it be like before or after to everybody? Because not everybody gets to go to PILD. I know that's one of the things I've heard in the last couple of years is with decreasing state budgets, that's not everybody gets a chance to go. So, but I think it's beneficial to everybody across the board. So I don't know.
Well, the pill in the normal year, face-to-face PILD, we do have a time slot on the agenda for a meeting. So the committee and the VP work together to put that meeting on.
Right. So
Okay.
I think
So
that is
need
there.
another item to do that.
There could always be like a report / webinar to the membership after the in-person
Mhm.
PILD JSEP meetings.
That's
mean,
my thought process. I think
yeah.
it should be split into a
Yeah.
separate one. So leave this and then maybe add another
Add
component.
another one, an addendum. Okay.
Post PILD. And before fairs start.
So you would say add what?
Just having, Jackie, I'll let you say it, I guess, because.
Like a virtual best practices. So it would be the same, share info and best practices on
Mhm.
legislative advocacy, but virtual. So again, it could be a post PILD. I'm thinking, Mary Liz, when did we did that? Oh God, the years run together. It was 2020, right? It was last year,
Right, we
but it
did.
was right.
Yes.
It was after PILD. It was after the
Yes.
virtual PILD. We held them
Yes.
separate. We did,
Yes.
I don't know, 3 or 4 of them different times.
Right. And then we did it again for 2021. Janie Klein and I did that one, and it was very different. It was more, that one was more, and you work with the president, the current president of NEAFCS. So it's pretty much what the president wants is the focus of your meeting, and you as the public affairs liaisons just work with the president. But this year it was more of almost a needs assessment that they did both at ELC and wanted us to carry it forward for PILD. So yeah, and it was also afterwards.
So who would be responsible for that one?
I think Jackie should move forward with that. Of course. I
Are
mean,
you good with that, Jackie?
I'm on mute. I am. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
yeah, I think that if you've already got this rhythm going on it, then we can, and it also needs to be the VP involved and the, it sounds like the NEAFCS president, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yes,
all 3.
yes, yes.
Okay.
That sounds like fun. Good idea.
Okay, so 13. Do you know if that one happened?
I got done.
That one's done?
Yep.
Okay. And 14, we did the impact webinar,
Sure
but
did.
we did not do the workshop. So do we want to do a workshop for 2022 on the impact statements?
I think you could certainly leave it in. And that's something, we did what I thought was a very good job with the webinar. And then let this committee decide, do we need an in-person workshop in North Carolina?
Which I'm okay being a part of. Doing it in North Carolina. No.
Yeah, your next door neighbor, kind of one state over, right? Well, I plan to be there too, so. Heck, we all plan to be there, right?
Yeah, I'd be happy to be involved with that, but I think the VP should be the leader on that. But if
Yeah,
they-
we'll
they
step
want some
aside and
help-
let that, as long as we've got that placeholder on the action plan, I think that's really all we need.
Yeah, the very first one we did, because the VP can have a session, you know, outbreaks or a breakout session. And the first one that we ever did, we had over 100 people show up, which was
Wow.
alarming and shocking to us. We thought maybe we'd be lucky if 30 people showed up, but there's strong interest in it. And
Wow.
it worked well, so.
Yes, and I think as a result of that workshop, just the I don't know, 7 or 8 years that I've been involved with impact statements, we get better and better and better. The process is easier. It's more clear. We end up with a better final product. People understand what they're supposed to be sending us, and honestly, it just keeps getting better. And that's the real refreshing part. Okay, gals. I am going to hop on. I'm going to say goodbye to you. Make sure your offices are filled. Excellent job on your action plan. Thank you all so much for serving. It's been my pleasure to
Well, thank you, Mary Liz.
at the table. All righty, I'm going to go to I don't even know where I'm going. Marketing. Okay. All righty. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So we've got it finished and I can send this over to Mary Liz. The only thing we didn't,
Okay,
the only thing
go
we
ahead.
didn't have filled was the apprentice.
Oh,
So,
Jackie.
yeah, I was just gonna say, I'm willing to do that.
Okay,
Awesome.
can you put your email and stuff in the chat so I can
Yep.
add it in?
So Jesse, you know, some of the things that are coming up right away is the impact statement stuff if you need some help with anything, let me know, okay?
Okay.
So that promotional stuff and whatnot. I know that you'll be talking to the new VP, or you might be the new VP. Either way, I'll help you, okay?
I appreciate it, Glenda. Thank you.
I'll put that at, and then just kept adding more to your name. Okay, otherwise, I think we are done and we're good to dismiss unless y'all had anything left.
I just have one comment and about committee membership. When I inherited this job, you know, or this whole thing, because it just kind of flew at me. One of the things that was coming up in the board meetings is how each of the other VPs were clearing out their committees and they were just wanted people that were going to work. And my philosophy was very strong that we need to hold on to whoever's interested, you know, and I never cleared house. And that occurred maybe kind of accidentally with Julie, you know, and so, and the other thing I did was everybody that came to PILD, I added them on to the committee. And so they would be getting all these emails, they would keep them in the loop so that when we had meetings, they would feel welcome to drop in and participate. And I don't want to see us drop off anybody out of our committee groups that we have, you know, in the member click system.
Linda, I'm guessing that's how I ended up on this committee, because I went to PILD for like 3 years in a row and and so I'm guessing that's how that's how I ended up. And again, on this list, I'm not on there. And so I was curious, you know, why I was on the one side of the house, but not on the other side of the house.
Yeah, I'm not on this one either. Jesse, that's funny. We haven't roped you into being our PILD rep yet. If you went 3 years in a row, we should have roped you into being our PILD rep.
I was keeping a low profile.
Well, maybe after this, we'll throw your name into that. It's super, it's a great experience. I quite enjoyed it, but yeah.
So I say, don't delete anybody, unless they ask for it, and don't nudge anybody out, because this is, to me, this is a lifetime, or maybe I should say professional loop that you just want to be a part of. Advocacy is super important. The education component of advocacy, and, we need to make sure we hold on to those people that can speak up within their states. They'll come around, when they have time, they'll come around. They've showed an interest at some point, and we might be able to get them to come around again. So for whatever reason, or there might be something they're particularly interested in, and they'll just come out of the woodwork. Sometimes we have to put a call out to see, if anybody else wants to be an author or editor for the impact reports, And that's a good place to find them, so come forward that way. They know how they're being used, having attended PIL, but pulling in all those first timers was me. But some of them got dropped off, and I regret that actually occurred. So there are advocates for advocacy.
Well, I think after going to PIL, they've experienced and they see it firsthand. Because I think, it's one of those things that we all know in your state, but it's not, it's just almost like it's an added addition. Like, you might not get to it. It's there, it's there, it's there, but you just never get to it. So I think when you come off of PIL, you're so excited because you get to see it firsthand. And yeah, it is kind of good to capture that and build off of that.
I think we're good.